And I want to share this little incident to begin with. Some of you may know that, almost 50 years back, the Lord called Augustine Jebakumar from this very Chennai, to go as a missionary to Bihar. But many do not know, the history behind his calling and his going to Bihar. And before he went to Bihar, let me share, a little bit of an history here for us to understand, what is the power of prayer and what is the power of sacrifice of a woman, can actually do, in God's kingdom. It's a great encouragement, especially for sisters who are sitting here and also for everybody who prays. Many years back, there was this one woman who was a Bengali from West Bengal. She came to work from Bengal to Bihar in a factory called Dalmia. Some of you may be acquainted, or you may know the Dalmia Cements. They started the factory long way back in the 50s in Bihar in a place called Dalmia Nagar. And during those times, there was this lady who had lost her husband. She was a widow with her small son. She came to Bihar to work in that factory. Unfortunately, within a few years' time, she lost her son to a disease. And when she was the only Christian in that factory, and when her son passed away, she wanted to give, a Christian funeral to her son. But when she went around the city, went around the district, she could not find even one church in the entire district. Not even one church, you can imagine. She was so heartbroken that, that finally she could not give a Christian funeral to her son. The others had to, bury him, the way that they would otherwise do. This, heartbroken, this lady, this woman, she went to the neighboring state of Uttar Pradesh. And there she went to a place called Lucknow, and there was a mission organization from England called Elim Missions, who was serving there pre-independence and post-independence. And this lady went to that mission and said, "Sir, would you send a missionary to Bihar, that there are not even one church in my whole of my district that I could not give a Christian funeral to my son?" But you know what? No man answered that call, because there was a fear in the hearts of the people, because everybody knew that Bihar was called as, or known as, graveyard of missionaries. It was called as a graveyard of missionaries for two reasons. Number one, because the earlier missionaries who had come to Bihar, they were killed, they were martyred, or because of, the extreme climate, the climatic condition, or the extreme, the environmental, the situations there, no missionary had lived to see even 25 or 30 years of age. Either the climate or the living condition, or because of the opposition and the persecution, many missionaries from the other countries had lost their lives, that it was branded as graveyard of missionaries. But there were these two young girls who had just come to India. They heeded, the call of this crying mother. One by name Olive Jarvis and the other by name Joy Bath. They both were young. They both were medical missionaries who had come from France, just fresh to India. And they were there at that mission station in Lucknow. When no man dared to go to Bihar, these two young girls said, "We will answer this call and we will go to Bihar." Hallelujah. I want to encourage and I want to, appreciate the sisters here. I would say that you are bolder, than men. Hallelujah. These young girls, they answered the call. They came to Bihar. They served there for 26 long years. They served as spinsters. They didn't get married. It's not because they didn't want to get married, but because no man would come to serve in Bihar. They gave their whole youth, 26 years. People were benefited, medically. They were blessed by their health care, but not many came to the Lord. There was almost, they were fruitless. The ministry was fruitless. But at the end of this 26 years, they are old. They had to go back to their country. These two young, who started as young missionaries, now they're, almost, coming to the old age, wanted to go back. They knelt down on that particular day. They took a piece of paper. They wrote down on this piece of paper, cried unto the Lord, saying, "The Lord, we have given our whole youth to you, serving you in this Bihar, but we could not see much of a fruit. But Lord, send a young man. They prayed, Lord, send a young man, send an Indian. And they put a list saying, he should be good at serving with children, good at serving with young people, good at communicating the gospel to the adults, passionate for you. These were some of the words they had wrote down, and they were praying. And that very moment, when they were kneeling down in a place called Dehri Onsun in Bihar, and they were crying there, in this very Chennai, in this place called Bain School, the ground which you have in Chennai, there it was a missions meeting was going on, and there was this young man who had just served food. He was part of the hospitality team, and he was strolling on the ground, and he saw these two beautiful eyes on the sky, what seemed like the tears of God fall on him, and he heard an audible voice, son, if you would not go, I have no one else. And it's not, the young man was none other than Augustine Jebakumar, and that's how he got a call to go to Bihar and serve as a missionary. Hallelujah. So you can see, what does the power of prayer can do. This Chennai is where the very place where when two women who were kneeling down and praying in Bihar, the Lord, arose them from here, took him there 50 years back. And that's how, it began. And what began as a graveyard of missionaries, where nobody who dared to go, he went as a sole young man, not knowing the language, not knowing who would support him, but now by the grace of God, because, as Paul writes in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5:24, the one who calls you, he is faithful, and he will do it, and he did do it. Now he is not alone, but along with Annan, we are 3,000 missionaries serving the Lord in 5 states of India and also in other countries of the world. Hallelujah.